Good day, friends, and welcome to this session on how to manage files and folders as well as printers in Windows Server 2016. In front of us is the plan overview of what we will do and configure on our server. We will talk on managing files, in which case we will talk about the various file systems, NTFS file, and file system and EFS. We'll move on to talk about the sharing of the files and folders and all the parameters to manage files in Windows Server 2016. That will be in part 1. I will move to part 2, which will be managing printers, installing print services, and installing printers, permissions, and deployment using group policy. So without much ado, one of the prerequisites that we have to understand is that you have to install the server role, the Active Directory server role, domain services rather, in which case we will enable you to activate and to configure most of the features with respect to group policy. Without much ado of our time, we will continue with the files, how to manage files. Already on the desktop, I have a file, a folder, Frederick, in which case I have 2 files inside. We'll see how to configure the files, permissions on those files. To configure access to a particular file, let's say testing, right click the file and we move to properties. On the properties, we move to the security tab. Security tab, we have groups and users, and as well as the permissions to that particular file. If your user is not found here, you can click on the edit button and you can add a user. Let's say I've created users, Ariel. Check the names. Ariel is there, and I say OK. Ariel is added and selected. I can now configure the permissions. I can tell that there you should have full control, which you can modify, read, and do everything with the file, and I say OK and OK. That's the simplest way for us to activate and configure NTFS file permissions. And let's now move on to encryption file system. You right click the file, properties. This time around I'll go to advanced. The encrypt content to secure data checkbox will be checked, and we check it. You take OK and apply and OK. Now it will tell you, ask you questions about the encryption warning. Do you want to encrypt the file and its parent folder, or encrypt only the file? If it has subfiles, you can choose the first option, which is select subsequently. Should be, since it's a file, we have to ignore, have to go back, say OK. Now the file has been encrypted. To be sure that's encrypted and to back up the encryption key, you right click you go back to the file, properties, advanced, and click on the details button. You have the options to add users, and to back up the key. For example, you want to back up the key to a safe place, click on backup key, and you follow the wizard on where to back up the key. The default settings are OK. You select security groups and you give a password and you confirm the password. Let's say 1 2 3 4. Next, the file name. The file name was test. So next, and you are exporting the certificate key somewhere, which the user is able to use it. Export completely, you specify location. Okay, well, the good thing here is users that are even out of the network or in another side of the network will need this key. Windows automatically encrypts the keys and send to them. This key will be used, we need it only for users that connect locally. That's how we have now encrypted our file with the entire system. We will now move on to sharing folders. We will share the folder as well. The folder, we have the folder here, Frederick. Right click, you click on properties, and the sharing option. The first tab is there. You click on share, and you specify the people you want to share the file with. You can add. You click here. I say find people. Okay, I want to share this file, let's say with Daniel, which a user or a group if you want. Daniel is there. I can give Daniel rights. Read is by default so read. You can say read write. And you say share. Your folder is shared, and that is that. The next thing is you can click on advanced share and give your share a share name, and as well as permissions. Let's say not everyone, but in particular, let's say Daniel again. Daniel. Check name. Okay. And can as well give Daniel permissions to this folder, because you're giving Daniel access to the file. You can give Daniel access to the folder entirely. And you say okay. Now you can as well work with offline files. Let's say you want to work with the file offline or folder offline. There's a caching option. Click on cache. I have cache settings, in which case you can say all files and programs that users open this shared folder are totally available online, which means as I said earlier in the presentation, this is to enable users to work offline even when they're not on the network. And you click OK. The file will be cached, and you can work with the files and folder even when you are not on the network. Okay, and we close. So move to the next section now, which will deal with the file and service rule. We have to keep in mind that file and service rule is installed automatically by default when we install Windows Server 2016, and it's all left for us to configure our various share options beyond the snap-in. So we go to device to server manager. We click on file and storage services, and we'll see how to share folders. And we should create a new share. Click on shares. The share window opens. We can configure our shares here, share folders here. We can configure the volumes as well as disk quarters. Now we'll click on we go to tax pane on the left. On the top right, we'll click on new share. New share, we have the various share options and the descriptions. We'll take the first one, which is the SMB share. We'll go fast. Next, follow the default settings. We'll now give a share name. I can give a share name. Let's say let me say test share name Fred. So the location path is there automatically, which is in share Fred, and the remote path to access this shared folder from any environment, from any part of the network, it is bin, which is the server name, and the shared folder we are creating. Click next. Here we can configure share settings like allow caching off the folder as we did it on the folder itself. Here we are using the console. You can include the data if you want. We'll just allow the default options. This way you can also as well configure permissions on that particular share folder. You can add the user or a group, and so on and so forth. Next, cancel. Next, and the confirmation page tells you when you now create a share. The share has been created successfully, and you click on close. You will see our folder there, shared. Users can access them from any point of the network. Now we'll now move on how to share, how to install the DFC overview, the DFC service. We have talked about installing file service. We now talk about the DFS overview. DFS is simply the aspect of centralizing all the shared servers in your server, on your network. So we'll now move on to see how to install the DFS service. Manage, you click on manage, you go to add roles. Next. So settings next. Now click on the file service rule. Click here and we'll take DFS namespace. Add feature. Next. The group policy is already selected. Next. Don't need to restart. Install. We just paused the installation for our server to install the rule and we'll resume. The installation will come back successful. Click on next, close, and to access our click on tools. Go to DFC now. Synapse which now installed. Which not installed as a rule. We'll now see how to create a namespace, a DFS namespace. You can click on the new namespace and you type the server binder, which is the name of the server. Say next. Now the namespace, you can call it shared. Next. Shared is existing. We're going to shared. Say next. Say great. Now you have already created the namespace. So click next. As you can see, we have our new namespace created under the domain contoso.com shared. Anywhere in the network, you can be able to access this shared folder and its content. Let's move now on how to configure this quarter. This quarter is a feature in Windows 7 2016 that enables users to maximize, or for users to maximize the size allocated for them. In case they go more than the required space, there will be alerts on how to manage them. To configure this quarter, you click on Start, on Tools, you go to Group Policy. Group policy, you click on the domains. You can configure it on the domain itself. You can create a group policy and you do it and you apply it, link it to users or the groups. Right click domain. You say create a group policy and link it here. You can say group policy. Let's say files. Okay. You right click file. You say edit. And you go to the computer settings, policies, and visit templates, and here you have it. So you see that will continue on the next part on printers.